Welcome back to my channel, folks. Today I'm going to be showing you my bow setup that I've been running for maybe 4 or 5 years now. I haven't really changed much on this and been running it, like I said, since college, and really like this setup, and thought it'd be a great time to do it because I've been using it for so long and love it, and really think it's a good way to go if you're looking for a new bow setup. But just wanted to kind of show you what I've been hunting with, just to give you an idea of all the deer I've taken with this, and just give you my thoughts on it. So to start off, I am running a Hoyt Carbon Defiant. So this came out, I guess, probably 17 or 18. And I actually got it. I ran a Hoyt Turbo Hawk before this, and basically was just growing out of it and just wanted a higher poundage bow. And what actually got me to buy this bow was my dad and them got me new arrows for my birthday, and basically the new arrows were too stiff. These ones I'm running right now were too stiff for my old bow because they didn't have enough poundage, and basically kind of caused me to buy a new bow right before season. And I wasn't really complaining about that, but I've always loved Hoyt. The one thing I want to tell you is go shoot. Go to your pro shop, go to your Bass Pro, whatever you have near you. I'm sure you have one. Just look it up. But before you buy a bow, just don't go buy it just because you see whoever's shooting it, whether it's Bone Collector, they shoot Hoyts. I'm not shooting a Hoyt because of them. Or, Bow Life with Levi Morgan, he shoots a Matthews. Or Crush with Lee and Tiffany, they shoot Matthews, whatever. I think the juries used to shoot PSC. I don't know if they still do. But just go in and shoot a bow, because honestly, bows are all just... they're not one person fits all kind of bows. So some of them you might like my dad, he shoots a PSC. His bow has like a really thick grip on it, and I really like the way the Hoyts, all the Hoyts I've ever had, have a pretty narrow grip, and I really have always liked that, and that's what I did when I was at the pro shop shooting it. Found out I really liked about them. And so just go shoot, test out a bunch of bows. That's what I did. Especially when I grew out of my youth bow, that's what happened. I shot the Turbo Hawk and really liked it, and that was a birthday present to me when I grew out of my youth bow. And then basically I did the same thing. I went to the shop because I said I'm not partial to them. I mean, Hoyt has always done really well for me. Never had an issue with a Hoyt bow. I've dropped it out of the stand, put it through the ringer. I'm usually pretty tough on gear and never had an issue with it. The only reason I've ever missed with this bow is because of me, not the bow. And like I said, just never had an issue with it. But I've always liked them. I went to shoot these at the shop and really loved the Defiant, and basically bought it brand new. You don't have to do that. Obviously, bows are extremely expensive, especially Hoyts. But I really liked it, and I basically upgrade a long time. It takes me a while to upgrade. It took me about 10 years with my Turbo Hawk, and then I've been shooting this for 5 years, and I don't plan on switching anytime soon. So it's an investment if you go with the brand new bow, but at your pro shops there's a lot of used bows that you can use. But anyway, so yeah, I'm running this Defiant. This is the Hoyt Carbon Defiant. This bow I got in 70 to 80 pounds. I'm shooting probably around 74 pounds is what I'm going to guess. I haven't really measured it in a long time, but I think I had set 72, and then I cranked it up a little bit, and then I haven't adjusted it ever since. This bow has an axle of 30.5 inches. It's just over 4 pounds. Its brace height is 7 inches. And then it shoots, they say, 331 feet per second. I've never tested the speed, but honestly, I'm not that big on the speed thing. It's, you should be shooting reasonable distances, and animals are going to drop. You're not going to beat them on dropping with a bow. To move on to the sight, I am running I'll show you it this way. I am running Trophy Ridge's React Trio sight. So as you see here, this is called the Trio sight because there's 3 sights, but let me actually see if I can show you it this way. Maybe. You can kind of see here, these 2 are sideways, and then it's got 1 vertical. And so the cool thing about this sight is, which the reason I went with this because I knew I'd be going out west possibly with this bow and hunting, because that's kind of my goal. The cool thing about this sight is it has the 2 sideways. So basically you sight this sight in at 20 yards, and then you do 30 as your second pin, and then your 40 would be your vertical pin. And once you get that set, this basically, you take this out to 50 yards or 60 yards, and you basically try to figure out where your drop is with your specific arrow setup, And then basically right here on the side, you'll see these dots right here. You basically, once you figure out your drop, your vertical pin becomes your one and all pin. And so you basically kind of just drop this straight down. And so then that turns into my 50 pin automatically, that vertical pin. And then the next dot would be my 60 pin, 70, 80. You can shoot all the way out to, I think, 100 yards with this pin. So, that's pretty cool, and I really, really like this sight. I haven't had an issue with it. I ran vertical pin, a Trophy Ridge vertical, I think a 3 or 5 pin sight before this that didn't adjust, and really liked it. And I like the vertical because it doesn't cover up the deer's vitals. But I decided to try this one, and I've actually really liked it so far. I mean, it's all personal preference again. Go test them out, see what you like. But I really highly recommend the site. I think it's like around $200. I know they have an electronic one, but now of this site. But you gotta be careful with that because some states don't allow any electronics on your bow. So I'm just gonna stick with this. I've really enjoyed it, and I personally like having multiple pins. I know a lot of people are shooting the single pin sight now, but with being mostly a Midwest hunter, I'm not adjusting to shoot long range. Most of my, almost 95% of my shots are 20 yards, 25, like 30 yards in, I'd say 95% of the time. So I'm pretty much using my top sight almost all the time, but I don't want to have to worry about adjusting if a deer moves out to 30. So with this, I have 3 sights all the way out to 40, and that's probably my max range in any of my normal deer stands here in Indiana. And so that's what I've just been running with, and I really like having just the multiple sights. Some people really like the single sight and really adjusting exactly where the deer are. I don't like having to fool with that in the deer stand. It's one less thing I don't have to worry about and just shoot with. So that's my sight. Okay, so that was my sight. So for stabilizer, I'm also running a Trophy Ridge. This is their Hitman kit. I'm running actually. So the cool thing about this, I bought they call it their Hitman kit. It's actually a dual arm stabilizer. So as you can tell, if you can see here, you see this circle thing, or this is one of their basically their other attachment for their other arm. So I'm running right now, as you can see, only a single stabilizer. It's their 12. I bought their Hitman in their 12-inch and 10-inch arms. But basically, I bought the dual purpose. So when I go out west, I leave my quiver on my bow. So I like to run the second stabilizer off the left side, so it's not tilted this way, pulling this way when I'm shooting. So basically it stabilizes it so it stays straight up and down. But when I'm in the Midwest, I usually take off my quiver and just hang that on where the bow arm is, and then I really just need the one stabilizer. So that's a cool thing about doing the dual arm stabilizers, and I've really liked it. Basically just like gives you a bunch of options, basically if you're going to switch to going out west or whatever, but that's what I've been running. And so far I've liked this. This is another thing. I used to run a really short one. I mean, I think for longer shooting, stabilizers a lot of real bow guys will tell you that stabilizers are super important, but I think a lot of them now, some of the bows already come with like only an inch or two. I think if you're Midwest hunting, you probably don't need a really long one. As you can tell, I mean, this is super long, 12 inches. I mean, it kind of gets in the way. But I think if you're shooting close range, it's not as big of a deal. But I'm always trying to go out west and do stuff like that. So we shoot at a lot long ranges at my buddy's house. So I like having the longer one. For my Aero Rest, I'm running an HHA Virtus fall away rest. Just what they recommended at the shop. I was running a Whisker Biscuit before on my other bow. But with these higher poundage bows, the fall away rest is the way to go. I think it's actually the way to go most of the time because your arrow's not touching all the way. When you release the arrow, it has that clearance, it falls away and lets the arrow fly straight. Whisker Biscuit can sometimes mess with that, but my dad's still running one on his bow and loves it. I never had any issues with my old bow with it, so that's always a great cheaper option. I know these fall away rests are a lot more expensive, so a Whisker Biscuit or something of that sort is also a great option if you're just getting into it to try it out. But I decided to just upgrade on my new bow because I knew I was going to keep this one for a long time. The quiver I got is a CBE 5-arrow quiver, and the cool thing about this quiver is, so basically it just slides off, and you'll see this arm here. You see that little arm right there? It goes right here on this bow. It just slides right on, and then you just pull the arm down, and it's not going nowhere. So it's really easy to pull off. I love that about this quiver. It just comes right off, and I can put it in the stand, and then I got my bow ready to roll. So that's the quiver. I mean, you can go with a bunch. It's kind of like a tight spot. I think the tight spot quivers, but those are really expensive, and this is kind of like in the same like same setup. It gets it really close to the bow, so it doesn't have it way off on the side. So it helps with your stabilizing, but your bow still will be a fit, especially when you're carrying like 5 arrows like I do. But really easy to catch, attach and detach. So highly recommend this quiver. I can't remember how much it is, but definitely like it. And then for my arrow setup, so I am now running, well, I have been running these for a long time. These are Victory Archery's VAP arrows, and this is in their 350 spine. I don't know if it's better to show it this way, probably. Yeah, this way. So VAP. These are pretty stiff arrows, stiff spine, but they're really small spine too, so it's better penetration. Actually, every animal I've shot, except for one, I've complete pass through. Never had an issue with pass throughs. And the only one I didn't pass through was a rutted up buck that I shot quartering away, and it actually got lodged in his chest, and the broadhead gets stuck in his bone and actually stuck in the deer. But that was the only one I've never broken through. I know that's a big thing right now. So, the talk is all these high FOC, whatever. Look, I know this arrow is not that heavy of an arrow, so I'm only running a 35 grain insert on the front of it, and then I am running the Rage hybrids now, and I absolutely love these. Every deer I've shot with these has only gone max 70 yards, and the blood trails are just unreal. If you go back on a couple videos I could post right in here, a recap. The one doe I got nice and slow-mo, just, right off the bat, you just see just blood pouring. You should be making good shots with your bow, so the whole heavy arrow thing I know is the big thing right now, but if you're putting it through the double lung shot, you shouldn't have an issue passing through any deer. It should be a clean pass through, and you shouldn't have any issues. You shouldn't be trying to shoot for shoulder shots with bows. You definitely can when they're up close, and you gotta get one in there, but you really should be waiting for the perfect shot and just trying to shoot them quartering away or broadside. But yeah, I absolutely love these broadheads. I know people, like I said, everybody's on the FOC thing and shooting big, thick, fixed blade broadheads. I still like the expandable, and these actually are, so this is like a hybrid. It's like a fixed blade with the top part, but the sides expand to about like 2.5 inches. So it's a 4-blade broadhead, but it flies like an expandable, so it's awesome. Highly recommend this broadhead. I also have been running the Annihilator Broadheads. This is what I took out to Colorado with me, because you can only shoot fixed blade. And I have shot one doe with this. It's on my channel if you go a few videos back. I made a little bit of a farther back shot than I thought on this doe. She was coring to me more than I expected. And she actually, it took a while for her to die. We gave her like 2 hours and actually jumped her, but then she died like right after that. I'm going to test these broadheads out more, but I'm still a bigger fan of my Rages. But I did try these out and have killed one deer. I'm 1 for 1 with them on this broadhead as well. And then basically to end my setup, I have been running this is another definitely a personal preference thing. There's so many releases out there, but I'm just running a standard Cobra. I don't even know what it's called. It doesn't even have the name on it or whatever. Actually, no, this is oh, never mind. This is a redhead. It looks like a Cobra. This looks exactly like my old one, but just standard release. I don't know. It's probably like $30 or something. But your typical wrist one. So you put it here, and it always stays on you. And then you just click and shoot like a gun. There's also thumb releases. I do have knock-on silverback practicing the back tension release. That's one thing I wanted to get into, and I might shoot that or shoot a thumb release coming up. But right now I've been sticking with this and really like this release and think it's a great option. Sorry guys, dog interrupted there. But that's my setup. And like I said, I kind of just want to show you what I'm shooting, but there are a lot of great bows out there now. There's so many good bows out there. I just say go to your local pro shop, shoot, see what you think. Every bow shop will let you shoot them, and you can just see which one feels right to you. And then there's just so many good sites and stuff out there now. You really can't go wrong with any of them. And Stabilize. There's just really good stuff out there. So I just recommend going to your local bow shop. That's what we did. And they've always, they're all there to help you out, and they will answer any of your questions. And, like I said, I went with this rest because that's what they recommended, and it's worked great. And, you just do your research. But this is my setup, and I'm just going to keep running with it. You don't have to buy the brand new bow. Like I said, I've been running this for 5 years, and I'm not planning on changing anytime soon. I really love this bow and plan to keep shooting it. And it's killed a lot of deer, and hopefully it'll kill some more this year. But if you guys have any questions, let me know. You know, like I said, I've been hunting with a bow for it's almost 2 decades now. I think 17 years now. Yep, 17 years. And really love bow hunting. And this is, I really do love my Hoyt bows, and definitely highly recommend if you're thinking go Hoyt. And you know, you can definitely find used bows at the pro shop, which is, I think, a great way to go, because you can get them discounted, especially even like last year's models are seriously discounted. Then even a couple years back, you know, they've already been shot and put a lot of arrows through, so you know they're already kind of like primed, and you know you won't have any of those mess ups in case like new bows coming off the factory that might have. Not that that happens that often, but just something to think about. But definitely go to your local pro shop and test them out, and you know, let me know if you have any questions. I know a couple of my buddies shoot Matthews. I got a couple that have the bear archery bows. I think I have a buddy that shoots Elite as well. But you know, there's all kinds of options out there, and they're all great options. But thanks for watching, and look forward to another video coming up. I did try longbow, traditional bow hunting this year, and I have a great budget-friendly longbow if you're thinking of going that route. And that's actually a lot cheap, like way cheaper, and have really enjoyed that route. And actually, I mean, I think that's a great way to get into it too. It's a lot tougher because they're a lot longer bow, but yeah, look for that video, and I'll just go into depth on that bow as my other setup that I've been hunting with for a year now. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.